Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real with Bob and Stacey. I'm your host, Bob Gallagher, joined in studio by a special guest and real estate agent, Frances Markel of the Markel Group with Keller, Williams, and Westford. Welcome to the show, Frances.
Thanks for having me.
You've actually done the show with us a few times, so this is your third or fourth time. Second
time.
Really? Sure.
Yeah, only second.
I one. It's been a few.
I know we've tried to get out here before, but...
Oh, maybe that's it. Oh, yeah. We tried to get you out here. We had some horrible weather the last few times, too.
Right.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about what's going on with the market in Westford?
Well, it's certainly the spring market. It may not feel like spring outside right now, but it is super, super hot right now. So many buyers out there. The inventory is very low. We have 44 homes on the market right now, 41 under agreement, and 88 that's sold in the last 6 months. So inventory is low.
44 that are active, or 44 and 41 of those are under agreement?
44 that are active.
Okay. And
41
under
separate
agreement.
that are under agreement. So you can see that we need more homes on the market.
Right. So that's probably why it seems like there's not much inventory, because it goes under agreement almost immediately.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Wow. What's the average marketing time these days for Westford?
Well, you always have some that take a little bit longer to sell. I don't know, but most of the homes that are selling very quickly go under agreement within the first weekend.
Wow.
And so we're seeing homes where they may be reviewing offers. They'll put it on the market, Thursday or something like that, and review offers on Monday or Tuesday.
And they're going that quick.
They're going that fast.
Wow. Do you ever remember a time they sold that quick in the last 10 years? Because even in the last boom, I don't remember it being this crazy.
Well, you know what? Every spring, like last spring was crazy like that for me as well, with multiple offers and not a lot of inventory, certainly in Westford. But before that, I haven't seen it like that. So I would say the last 2 years. Interestingly enough, the fall seems to slow down.
Really? So what do you think it is that's stopping people from listing their homes for sale? Because it seems like we've been in this inventory shortage for what, maybe 2-3 years now?
At least. And I think the issue is that a lot of the sellers don't have a place to go. And because they want to buy another home, typically in the same town. You have people that are trying to buy a bigger home because their families have gotten bigger. You may have people that are trying to downsize, and there's no inventory, so there's nowhere for them to go. So the sellers that you see out there, a lot of them are the ones that really have to sell, that are moving out of state or job relocation or something like that. But I think a lot of sellers are afraid that they can't find another home to live.
Especially if they want to stay in town.
If they want to stay in town. And even some of them, they may, my dream going over to the ocean or something like that. They're trying over there and they can't find anything.
Because you end up with the same shortage.
Same shortage.
What about new construction in Westford and the surrounding towns? Is that improving at all?
There is, but you're going to need an awful lot of money for it.
Really?
Right. So new construction prices for the colonials that they're selling out there are, starting at about $850 and up.
Right. Wow. And for $850, what do you get on average for the money in new construction, square footage wise?
About 3,500 square feet. Very nice home. 9 rooms, 4 bedrooms, 2.5, maybe 3 full bathrooms. Beautiful kitchens. You might not get that in a neighborhood because there's not that many neighborhood homes.
Wow.
If you put something in a neighborhood, you can get a larger home, and then you're up over $1 million.
Wow. That's and do you still see competitive bidding situations in that price range as well?
Not so much.
Okay.
I don't do a lot of new construction with builders, and I deal more with the buyers that are trying to buy into that. So you'll see people trying to get that are moving up, that want to move into a neighborhood, or they'll move into one of those homes that put theirs on the market. Right.
But either way, it's still tough to get into or stay in Westford these days. You can pretty much say that for all towns, say, east of 495 or not too far west of 495?
Right.
Doesn't seem like there's a place where there's tons of housing stock and not a problem with inventory anymore.
Oh, that's correct. There's low inventory across the board.
So when when the new construction you are seeing, predominantly at the higher end, you're not seeing like condos, and I don't think anybody's building starter homes anymore, right?
No one's building starter home because if they're going to make a higher margin if they build a bigger home.
Yeah, I suppose.
And there's the demand for it. If they did do some that were in the $500,000 range, I suppose those would probably end up being condos. In fact, some of the new condos that they put on were $469.
Wow. And do those have 3 bedrooms, or are they sticking to the 2-bedroom setup?
2-bedroom setup, mainly because Westford is septic.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a town sewer.
Oh.
And so things are dictated for that. And the new condos that they put on around in the high 4s, those are all pending.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I never thought I'd see the day, but I guess the real thing to take away here, if you're listening right now and you're thinking about buying or selling, is, in my opinion, you have to work with the right agent if you're going to have a shot at getting anything, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I have a story for you where I had someone who was not working with an agent that put in an offer on one of my listings 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That seller moved out of state for a couple of years,
mm-hmm.
and his offer wasn't accepted. We had multiple offers. I guess he thought he was going to get a better deal if he went directly with the agent and
Mm-hmm.
tried to explain, even if I gave up all of my commission, you're still lower than everyone else. That didn't seem to bode well. But anyway, the seller has moved back into the area. He bought another home that we helped him get,
Mm-hmm.
which this buyer has been contacting me every 2 weeks for the last 4 years looking for another home like that, and
Wow.
refuses to work with an agent. So
Wow.
I think he could have found something by now.
Now, with the market being as hot as it is, if you're a seller, and before I ask the question, I just want to say I don't agree with this, but there are people out there that think, well, the house is selling so fast now anyways, why do I need to use a realtor to list the house? What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think we're seeing more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're seeing the horror stories where they bring a realtor in after the fact because they realize it's not that easy.
Right.
I always tell my sellers the easiest part is getting the offer. Getting it to close makes all the difference in the world.
Right.
People think they could just post it on Facebook that I'm selling my home and, it's going to go under agreement and stuff like that. Sure, they can get an offer, but are the buyers qualified? Are they going to get their mortgage? What happens with the appraisal? There's a whole bunch of things that could go wrong.
Home inspection negotiations.
There's a lot that can go wrong. And, the thing is, when people see that someone is buying it without an agent, they're already reducing the price, typically. And when I see some of these sales, I can't believe how low they're selling. Kind of hurts everyone.
Yeah, it does. A little bit different than it was back in the day when people that tried to sell houses on their own were typically overshooting the market by quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Now you think they're not pricing it high enough.
Well, no, I'm sorry. They may be pricing it high enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the buyer will come in thinking that they're going to get a better deal.
Oh, I see.
And so they're already discounting it.
Right.
And so, again, the seller, no one has any representation. And
makes it a lot tougher to get the deal done when neither side has representation.
Correct. And we have one where just 2 days ago it fell apart and that they were trying to do on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came to us and said, can you help? We sure can.
Well, at least they were smart enough to do it after the fact.
Right.
Because like you said, it's a struggle if you try to do it on your own. There's a lot of things that go into getting a deal to the closing table that most buyers and sellers just aren't familiar with because they don't do it on a regular basis.
That's right. They sell one home. I sold 100 homes last year.
Right.
Big difference.
Right. So you know the ins and the outs and how to get it done.
Right.
Why don't we talk about how you prep buyers and sellers for the market that they're going to be facing?
Okay. That's a good question. For the sellers, we go above and beyond because we think that everything should be done professionally. We have professional photography. We have staging, which really helps the property sell.
Right.
Some people think that it's not needed. However, you're still in competition with maybe one or two other homes.
Mm-hmm.
You want yours to sell before the other ones and for a higher price.
Right.
So I think it's better to do that. Take care of any of the maintenance items for the seller. And here's something that we never had to prep the seller for. Before we put it on the market, we have to ask them, how do you want to review offers? Isn't that great?
Reviewing offers.
Do you want to review them as they come in, or should we wait until, a certain day or something like that? And that's not something we ever had to prep sellers for.
Wow. And what do most buyers want? What do most sellers want to do? How do they want to handle that end of it?
It's mixed. It really is, because the thing is, you put the home on the market and you think that you may have multiple offers and you're putting it at a price that you think is fair.
Mm-hmm.
You're not putting it too low. You're not putting it too high. You think it's the price that it's going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know if you're going to get an offer or not. And I remember last year or a couple of years ago, you'd see some of these, offers reviewed on Tuesday. And then, 3 weeks later, it has a price change, So you have to be careful how you do that and realize that it's a really hot property. So I have a lot of sellers that will say, I want to review it as they come in, and then I have others that they don't mind waiting,
really,
and just let's get 20 offers in.
Yeah. See, I think I'm with the first group. I want to know. I'd want to know as they come in. I wouldn't want to wait all at once.
Yeah, you know what? And it's up to the seller. I don't make that decision, and it's their comfort level.
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't stand waiting for anything. If I know something's coming in, I want to know what it is. I can't imagine just saying, no, just tell me later.
Yeah.
How about prepping buyers for the market? Because that's a little unique these days now, too.
Yeah. And buyers, that's interesting because now they are so desperate because they're in these bidding wars. And we have some that don't want to be in a bidding war. And they're going to have to wait, in a sense, to find a home, or maybe it's not a home that everyone else wants. We tell them what the market is like. We give an analysis of what we think the home value is like, and we get a feel if are they the only offer, or are they one of 7 offers in there, and that may change the price that they want to pay.
Right.
But we're prepping them about home inspection ahead of time. Basically, if you could see it and you see that there's an issue, it's not something that you should be coming back with after the home inspection. So it's hard for buyers right now to get in there, but I have a great team with 2 buyer agents on it. They do a wonderful job.
You know what? While I'm thinking of it, I'm actually going to give out your contact info. So if you're thinking about buying or selling anywhere in Westford or the surrounding communities, you should give Francis a call. It's the Markel Realty Group with Keller Williams in Westford, and the number to call is 978-621-9785. Again, it's 978-621-9785, or you can check them out on the web at markelrealty.com. Okay, so why don't we talk about other things that are having an impact on the real estate market? This is something we talk about from time to time, is mortgage rates and what they're doing to the market. What are you seeing?
Well, I'm really happy that they're staying pretty steady and that they're still low.
Yes.
I think they're in the high 3s. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah,
Love it. Let's keep it like that. However, whenever the interest rates raise a little bit, maybe an eighth or something like that, all the buyers get very worried and like, oh, why didn't I buy? Why didn't I buy?
Yeah.
And so it gets them off the fence. And I love that too, because if they go up a little bit, then you'll have people say, oh, I have to buy something this weekend. And
right.
I kind of like that because, I don't know why you didn't choose one of the 100 homes that we just showed you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the crazy things too, is that the market, while it's been stable rate-wise for quite a while, it's not going to last forever. I mean, at some point, they're going to start moving up. Nobody expected that at this point in the year we'd be as low as we are. And I think because it's an election year, you might see them stay kind of at the lower end, but at some point they have to go up again. And if you wait,
I think we had that conversation last year too.
We did.
And the year before.
We did. And now nobody knows what to expect. I mean, with the world economy kind of affects, we're not insulated anymore like we used to be.
Yeah.
So just because certain things are happening in our country, you can't really predict what that's going to translate to.
Right.
And that's kind of the scary thing. So we're saying right now, maybe they don't change for the year. Maybe they don't change till next year. When in reality, something crazy could happen and, they're changed in a month.
Absolutely.
So it's hard to gauge. So, my advice, plain and simple, is don't wait.
Well, people ask me all the time, what do I think is going to happen? Are the rates going to go up? Are they going to go down? And I tell them, if I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be selling real estate. I'd have my own island somewhere.
That's the exact same thing I said. Imagine if you could actually predict which way the rates were going to go with any accuracy. I mean, you could make enough money to live the rest of your life in a couple of months.
I know. We'd all be extremely wealthy.
Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? So why don't we talk about other things that could be impacting the market? For example, we kind of touched on it when we were talking about rates, which is the election cycle. Usually the uncertainty of an election year tends to slow down the real estate market a little bit. But, I mean, I'm certainly not seeing that. Are you?
I'm not seeing it. I think I saw it 8 years ago. There was a lot of uncertainty. And even 4 years ago, maybe a little bit. This year, I don't see that, and that's kind of a surprise to me because usually I think things slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
rates usually stay the same. Who knows?
Could just be the extreme need. It seemed like the last time things got insane in the real estate market, 05, 06, 07, it was out of greed. Everybody was going to buy houses and sell them in a year and make a fortune. And buy another one and just keep doing it. But now it's people that want to buy houses to live in because they either have no place to live or are tired of paying the ridiculous rents.
Oh,
that are
right.
out there.
And rent prices are just through the roof right now.
That's another thing I just can't get over. I mean, where are you supposed to go if you need a rental at a reasonable price? I mean, even the city of Lowell is getting expensive, isn't it?
It is. It is. I don't think there is any reasonable rent in Massachusetts.
Yeah, you could be right, unless you want to go out to Springfield, but that's a heck of a commute no matter where you're going, right?
Right.
So it's hard to say what's going to happen with rates, and certainly I'm sure you feel the same with real estate prices. I mean, it seems like they're going to continue up, at least in the short term, doesn't it?
It certainly looks that way now. And if we look at how things usually go, in the spring they usually go up. In the fall they usually stabilize. They might go down a little bit, late as you get there. But again, spring market is always up.
Right. And it's the lack of inventory.
No inventory right now.
That's driving it, right? I mean, simple law of supply and demand. You have this limited of a supply and tons of people that are after the housing stock. It's going to translate to higher prices, right?
That's right.
Especially when you end up with people that are just getting, I don't want to use the word desperate, but I mean, a lot of people are kind of getting there. I mean, you can only look at so many houses and miss out or have your offer not get accepted so many times before you just go in and say, okay, I'm tired of it. Here's all my money. Just give me the house.
Right. I mean, you'd think at your fifth time that you're pretty discouraged, but a lot of buyers are seeing that.
Wow.
And they keep trying and trying and trying again. And then you'll find that they keep raising their price on what they think they can afford. And sometimes that doesn't even help because now they're in a different market and competing with a different group of people.
And it still doesn't work.
Still doesn't work.
Right. So really the best advice is just hang in there.
Hang in there, get a good realtor that's working for you, that knows the market and may have a heads up of what's coming on the market so that you get in there.
That's great advice. Thanks for joining us on the show, Francis. I'm going to give out your contact info one more time. It's Francis Markel of the Markel Realty Group in Westford with Keller Williams. Give her a call, 978-621-9785. Again, that's 978-621-9785. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more Get Real after this.